Sahaja online. My name is Melanie Pundit, and I will be your instructor for this last concluding session of our 9-week series. A few housekeeping notes. Your lines are muted. We can neither hear nor see you, but you should be able to hear and momentarily see me, your instructor for this session. If you do have any questions at any point in the session, please use the Q&A or the chat function. We'll be together for the next 45 minutes, which will consist of 2 guided meditation sessions. We encourage you, in order to get the best possible experience in this meditation, is to ensure that any distractions that might get in your way are eliminated or decreased in some way. Turn off your notifications. Make sure that everyone around you knows that you will be meditating for the next 45 minutes or so. We'll begin by going over our poll. For those of you joining us live, thank you for answering those few questions so that we can get to know who we have here in our live session. So what we can see is that everyone joining us today are returning meditators in the Sahaja technique and have been meditating for at least 6 months. And as always, you are here for the right reasons. That's interesting. We've got an increased percentage for mental health. Everyone here has said, I want to improve my mental health. That awareness is rising, and it is wonderful that we are becoming more aware of how important meditation is for our mental health. So that's fantastic. So thanks for answering those few questions. For this last class of this 9-week series, we are going over our 7th energy center. We've gone through the process of self-realization, the subtle system, our chakras, our 7 chakras, our 6 leading up to this 7th one, and we have an overview of the 3 channels, and all of those videos are archived on our YouTube channel, so you can go ahead and rewatch any that you haven't already been present for. So talking about our 7th energy center. As we know, our subtle system is our network of 7 energy centers or chakras, each of those being responsible, being connected with our physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional self. And so each one of those energy centers governs those areas within us physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. When any of those areas are out of whack or imbalanced, whenever we are emotionally imbalanced, physically ill, mentally not at our optimal state, or on any level spiritually lacking, that can be rooted back to the imbalance within our energy centers. When we look at our 7th energy center, however, it's a bit different than our other 6 energy centers that we've gone over. The name for this energy center is Sahasrara. It is also known as the lotus or the 1,000-petaled lotus, the crown energy center or the crown chakra. There's lots of different ways that it's referred to. It is, in great simplicity, if we were to kind of grab it in a nutshell, we say that this energy center is the center of our integration, of the integration of our entire subtle system. We feel the reflection of all of our chakras on our hands in Sahaja. And so the Sahasrara is felt right at the center of the palms. When this energy center is activated, when our inner energy, our Kundalini, has awakened from her dormant state and rises up that central channel, ultimately culminating at the crown of the head, that happening known as self-realization. So when that 7th energy center is activated or pierced or awakened, we feel that that has happened by feeling energy in the center of our palms. In general, we will feel the essence of our inner energy. Unlike our other 6 lower energy centers, when they are in an imbalanced state, we feel that as heat on our fingers. We feel that as heaviness. We feel that as some kind of catching sensation because our inner energy needs to work to cleanse and balance and reduce those problems that are happening on each of our lower 6 energy centers. At the seventh energy center in general, we will just feel the essence of our energy, that cool, activated, very gentle, subtle, flowing breeze. We won't typically feel heat or imbalances in our seventh energy center. Again, some exceptions to the rule, just as although our 6 energy centers below have an element that corresponds to it, when we get up to the 7th energy center, because we're at a whole nother level, we can't correspond this chakra to one specific element. We at the 7th energy center are really getting absolutely into the absolute state of meditation, which is beyond our mind, beyond our body, and absolutely beyond elements, completely beyond. So no specific element tying to the 7th energy center. The color, as this is the chakra of our integration, it is also the color of our integration. As every color comes together, that culmination, that integration of all is expressed through the color of this chakra, the color white. We can also relate it to the idea of a prism, that when all the colors come into this chakra, they fractal out, or they are dispersed amongst all of our other energy centers. So the fact that each of our energy centers does have a color attribute, when they all come together and they're all integrated in this prism at the 7th energy center, at the crown of the head, that unites, that comes together, integrates as white. On the physical level, this area governing our brain, our limbic area, which is that area on the top of the head, all of our nerve endings, or the fontanelle bone, which is that spot which was soft in our infancy. If we feel on the crown of the head, we may feel a gentle depressed area. Those of us that have been around babies will recognize that there is a spot on the top of the head which in birth is not calcified, it's soft. That is the fontanelle bone, or the limbic area. And so that is the area of our 7th energy center. The qualities of this chakra are our integration, we'll get into that in a moment, our absolute oneness, that experience of, as we've said, absolute meditation, the integration with our spirit, which is located at our heart. When our spirit gets awakened or touched through this happening of our kundalini rising up, that integration of our spirit, it integrates at the crown of the head. That oneness happens, which gives us that experience of absolute joy, absolute bliss, the experience of this moment, right here and right now. So there is nothing other than complete peace, the feeling of spirituality, because we get connected with that energy which is beyond our mind, beyond what most of us are able to understand on a mental level. Because we are connected with that beyond, it gets us into an access to our spirituality, to that connection with that which is absolutely beyond. So that connection between that which is within and that which exists all around us. The experience of being in this state, having our energy rise up, and being able to have our attention present up and over the top of the head, is being in the state of thoughtless awareness. It goes even farther in the Sahasrara, the 7th energy center, to a state of doubtless awareness, which is not blind faith, but a state that is an absolute recognition of self, of the present moment, and of this integration, this absolute happening, which gets us beyond any possible doubt. If our Sahasrara is in an imbalanced state, we will find that we have challenges feeling vibrations, feeling that energy either on the palms of the hands or on the crown of the head. We may have challenges feeling that. That can be a result of a blockage in any one of our energy centers, specifically the throat and at the crown of the head. So just getting deeper into meditation, establishing that state of thoughtless awareness, so that that vibratory awareness, that vibrational sensitivity develops in our hands and on the top of the head. We also may find that we are having incredible doubts, having that experience of disbelief in the spiritual aspect of this happening, or of the presence of the divine in our lives. So any disbelief or doubt in that, which cannot be forced in any way, which comes as a result of this happening, which makes it truly undeniable that there is something beyond. So any disbelief, it's just that we're not there yet. It's not a judgment in any way, and it's not an imposed understanding or acceptance that anyone must have, but just an evolution of letting that happening transpire from within and manifest to our state of thoughtless awareness and ultimately doubtless awareness. When our Sahasrara chakra becomes established, that integration happens within. So that integration truly is through the awakening of our inner energy, or our Kundalini. As she rises up, she is piercing through our energy centers, ultimately integrating the entire network at the crown of the head, so that each one is not an independent step along the way, but they become absolutely integrated. That Kundalini providing that ability to connect all together, to tie them together, to integrate them, and ultimately make that integration happen at the crown of the head. So it's an integration within the entire subtle system. Again, the state of thoughtless awareness, doubtless awareness, peace, joy, and bliss. On the physical level, we are talking again about the limbic area, and that's in our medical science. So the last thing we're going to do before we get into our meditation today is we are going to have a nice little chance to get to listen to the founder of Sahaja, Sri Mataji Nirmala Devi, in her description of this happening. And of course, how important it is. If we trace back our experience in Sahaja, any benefits that we have achieved through it, we can trace that back to the founder, to Sri Mataji, who originally taught this knowledge to someone, and ultimately to you. And so it's a wonderful experience to get closer to that source, to understand the essence of this happening to the first degree. And what she will be describing is how this integration truly happens. So I'm honored to get a chance to share that with you today. It's just a little 2-minute clip. And so what we can do is listen to that in the state of meditation, just sitting with our hands open, enjoying listening to Sri Mataji. And we'll come back in just another 2 minutes after this clip to get into our meditation.
In the history of humanity, in the history of evolution, in the history of spirituality is the most important time, because here where you will get whatever has been promised to you so far. Our planet is moving in a spiral way. All the planets are moving in a spiral way, and they are creating all possible things for the use of human beings so that they can save time. Save time for getting their ascent and for meditative growth. But people don't understand that part. Alright? What I try to show them, that this is the left side, this is the right side. So this is the left sympathetic nervous system, say, and this is the right sympathetic nervous system. And really spinal cord looks like this. And inside here is the spinal cord, which has the centers in it, the subtle centers. Now, when you start using the energy of these centers, say too much on the right, and it starts moving more towards the right, and there's a constriction. And the power becomes less because you are exhausting. Going more towards the right side. Suddenly something happens, and from the left, if there's a jerk, then the connection is completely broken. This is on its own. It starts working on its own. That's why we can say that this has become malignant. I have no relationship with the whole to have the proportionate growth. So if the nose starts developing, it can cover your eyes, can cover your mouth, everything. This is how a cancer is set in. Or any other disease. So many psychosomatic diseases are nothing but somatic is from the right side, and when the psyche gives in, then it becomes a psychosomatic disease. There are so many diseases which are more psychosomatic than physical. And these we call them as incurable. Can be easily cured by Kundalini awakening, because when Kundalini passes through this, she just integrates them. For example, she's going like this, then she goes into this, integrates them. Just like she strings them like pearls.
Pearls, yeah.
And so they are brought down. And also she nourishes that center. That's how people get cured.
All right, here we are back. So that's such a lovely description Srimataji gave, that as our inner energy rises up, we look at the spinal column just like this, and you can see that, and how when that inner energy rises up, it's rising up through that network, the integration of the left and the right energy channels, and stringing them together so that they're unbreakable, so that they can't come apart in any way. So that's absolutely linking it together. It's a really beautiful description, stringing the energy centers, stringing the chakras together one by one upon another, like pearls, like a string of pearls, each one of our energy centers like pearls. I love that metaphor, and I'm going to use that today for our meditation. So we've got our gestures and affirmations. We may be taking advantage of some of them, especially our seventh energy center, always focusing on truly getting our attention up there to beckon our inner energy upwards, taking the palm, placing it on that fontanelle bone area, the center of the palm, right on the center, topmost point on the scalp, stretching our fingers so that we apply gentle pressure to the crown of the head. For those of us experiencing the happening for the first time, we say at this point silently within ourselves, I want to experience my self-realization, expressing that desire to beckon our inner energy up to culminate at the crown of the head. For those of us having had happened that experience, having had experienced that happening, we want to deepen it. And so we can silently say from our hearts, I want to deepen the experience of self-realization. So let's get into our first meditation. Getting into that state of thoughtless awareness where absolutely we are focusing our attention, using our power to focus, to guide our attention, that it is under our potential control. And we are going to take that power of attention, bring it past the mind, past all of our thoughts, so that our attention is in a place where there is a suspension of thoughts, a space between our thoughts, rather than being triggered by our thoughts corresponding to the past or the future, but directing our attention right into the present moment, not being triggered by thoughts, not even being aware of our thoughts, raising our attention absolutely above the awareness of our thoughts and our ideas into this absolute present moment. That is our state of thoughtless awareness, focusing our attention and suspending our thoughts. So let's get right into our guided meditation. Our home position is palms open on our laps, fingertips apart, closing our eyes. If you do wear glasses, it's a great time to take them off, telling our brain, telling our entire being that we don't need to look. We don't need to even listen. We are bringing our focus within. So we'll start with our palms open on our laps and our eyes closed. As we bring our attention within, our focus is within our grasp. We can be in control of where our attention lies. So let's start by bringing our focus to the base of the spine, the triangular bone, sacrum bone at the base of the spine, and then putting our attention within that bone. focusing on our inner energy, our nourishing, feminine energy, Kundalini, becoming aware of her presence and expressing that desire from deep within our hearts for our inner energy to be enacted, to awaken from that dormant state, for us to create the absolutely conducive environment for her to rise up our central energy channel. Rising up from the sacrum bone through each one of our chakras, the second chakra, the lower part of the stomach, the third, right at the center of our stomach, the fourth chakra at the heart, the fifth energy center at the center of the throat, our inner energy, our focus rising up to the sixth chakra at the forehead, right at the center of the forehead, and ultimately rising upwards to the crown of the head, to the fontanelle bone, that point that was soft in our infancy. Focusing on that movement and ensuring that our attention is not on thought, not on any type of analysis. While we meditate, there is nothing to analyze, nothing to process. We want to just create that conducive environment so our attention is right here, right now, in this present moment. Let's watch our Kundalini rise and string together our chakras like a string of pearls as she rises from the base of the spine, piercing each one of our chakras above the sacrum bone from the second energy center all the way up to the seventh. She is stringing together one pearl. And then rising higher to string yet another pearl onto that beautiful necklace. That integrated, balanced union of our entire being. Physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, absolutely integrated. Our attention going beyond our physical being so that we are not thinking about how we look, how we are seated, or how our positioning is. None of that is important, not even focused on our breath. Letting all of our automatic functions take place without focusing on them, and letting our entire attention go to the integration taking place as our Kundalini rises, as we sit in that joyful, peaceful, blissful state of thoughtless awareness. Let's help ourselves out just a little bit as we may struggle with that ability to be beyond our thinking. Let's take our right hand and place it across the forehead. Right hand across the forehead. All of that thinking that we're so used to doing, it is a temptation. It keeps us engaged with the past and the future, but doesn't allow us to break free into the pure experience of our life as it happens, right here, right now. So let's step high onto that great platform of empowerment over our mind through the simple technique of forgiveness, letting that silence overpower all of that noise. From our hearts, we'll silently say, I completely forgive everyone. I absolutely forgive. No anger, no judgment, no resentment, no desire to seek revenge, no spite whatsoever. I absolutely and wholeheartedly forgive everyone. And I forgive myself, everyone, with no exception. I forgive. Let that be the key to unlocking the silence of this present moment. There is nothing we have to think about. Let our attention rise up higher. We can use our hand, raising it from the base of the spine, crossing the forehead until our hand ultimately is at the crown of the head, gently placing the center of the palm on the crown of the head and giving that area a gentle massage, pressing and rotating on the crown of the head, stretching our fingertips so that we are applying a gentle pressure, focusing on massaging our scalp, not moving our hand. This is not a robotic exercise, but it is an expression of our desire that our inner energy culminate at the crown of the head. I want to deepen my experience of self-realization. Focusing within, focusing on our inner energy and the Sahasrara chakra at the crown of the head. I want to deepen my experience of self-realization. Slowly then, let's let our hand rise up slowly, observing as we do any sensations that we may feel close to or farther above the crown of the head. We may observe sensations very close to the head. We may feel them farther above. Observing and comparing without reacting, without analyzing, just observing as we would the temperature out of the window, the temperature or the wind, any sensations, just checking it out without reacting. Without thinking about it, we can switch hands to compare that observation. What might be felt close to or farther above? As we want this experience, this doesn't increase through our forcing of the experience. And so, what makes it even stronger is when we observe from that state of thoughtless awareness. So, let our attention be absolutely where our hand is in that space, above the mind, in the present moment, focused on our inner energy, not in evaluation. While we expand our attention, loosen that grip on all that is mental, on all that is superficial, that experience will increase. As we allow ourselves not to force it, but encouraging our complete being on all levels to be here and now, aware of the movement of our inner energy and focusing in an expansive way in this present moment, and then observing what's happening up and over the top of the head. While in that meditative state, let's also check what we're feeling in the palms of the hands, holding the hands open in front of us, fingertips apart, palms open. We can bring our hands up off of our laps so that we're truly focused in the palms of the hands. Again, our attention up and over the top of the head. We cannot approach this from a mental place. If we do, it limits us. So without thinking, without analyzing, being in that state while observing, being thoughtlessly aware, with our attention dynamically placed up and over the top of the head while we feel any sensations in the palms of the hands. Let's slowly bring our hands back down to our laps. And let's let our meditation today be a bit of a longer one. Rather than having two meditations, let's take this growth that we are achieving through establishing that state of thoughtless awareness and aspire to get even beyond. We want to get beyond our thinking while in meditation. Let's also aspire to get beyond all doubts so that again we loosen our grip on thought. We let that thought not control us. Melting, diving deep into the here and now with our attention absolutely uniting with the all-pervasive consciousness, that energy that exists within, uniting with that which exists all around us, beyond the superficial, beyond the mental. Aware of our energy, aware of this present moment, that gap between our thoughts. Let's sustain that, keeping the focus up and above the top of the head, keeping the focus in the palms of the hands, and seeing with the power of our desire, how deep can we dive? How high can we rise right here, right now, becoming absolutely fully integrated, yet absolutely thoughtlessly aware. And see what happens and how that observation affects what we're feeling, how that experience affects what we're feeling on the palms of the hands and on the top of the head as we get deeper and deeper into this state of thoughtless awareness, into this absolute state of meditation for a few minutes. Let's go ahead and check on our experience. At this point, fully honest with ourselves, where is my attention? Have I gotten distracted into thought, tempted into reacting to the past or the future? Or am I able to sustain my attention right here, right now? How strong is that power of being absolutely present? Let's see what we're feeling on the palms of the hands. And let's check on that reflection of our meditative experience. What is happening up and over the top of the head? Fully honest with ourselves, what can we feel while our attention is above our mind, in between our thoughts, immersed into that silent gap, which once we are immersed into it, it just expands. What do we feel over the top of the head as we enjoy riding that wave of meditation? What do we feel on the right hand? What do we feel on the left hand? Either very close to the top of the head or farther above. And then on our own time, we'll very slowly bring our meditation to an end, our hands back to our laps, and we'll open our eyes. So let's get into just a quick poll to wrap up our experience today. Let's see what we felt. Answering those few questions on the screen. How was our focus, our stress, and our mental noise during this meditation? Did we have no change whatsoever? Or did we find we had less thoughts? Did we find we felt calmer? Were we able to focus on the present moment? Were we observing that we felt more relaxed? And then those visceral observations on our hands or head. What did we feel? Nothing, perhaps something, or are we sure that we felt the energy? Did we feel it as warmth? Did we feel tingling sensations, cool or breeze-like sensations, or other? What did we feel? So we'll just take another minute to answer those few questions. Thank you so much for answering them. We've got a lot of similar responses coming in. This is unheard of. So let's see what we've got. Everyone feeling that ability to be in this present moment. Fantastic. This is the essence of the experience, feeling the movement of energy. Thank you so much for answering those questions. Very, very deep in the experience when we're all united in those responses. So that's really fantastic. So before I leave you, as this is the end of our 9 series on the 7 chakras, we have been deepening and getting aware of our subtle system, feeling our vibrations, differentiating between the balanced and the imbalanced, more heat-heavy state. Watching and observing our state without reacting, especially during meditation and beyond, and getting deeper and deeper, smaller steps, day by day, meditation by meditation, to build upon where we are. What we want to do going onwards is obviously continue to meditate twice a day, 15 or 20 minutes in the morning and in the evening, so that within that, whatever it may be, 15 minutes or so of meditation, we are able to carve out about 5 minutes of quality, thoughtless awareness in the morning and in the evening. Foot soaking in our evenings is really going to help us trajectory of moving along, moving upwards in our growth. So what we want to do is get deeper in our thoughtless awareness, really recognize, being honest with ourselves. What is blocking our growth? Are we unable to let our thoughts go? Facing that head on so that we can face those challenges and truly move beyond them. That's what's going to help us. So we'll stick around. I'll stick around for a few more minutes for questions and answers. I'd like to thank you all for coming, and I look forward to meditating with you again at Sahaja Online very soon.